Just released the best steel Brainrot template available on the market. All textures and mechanics shown in these videos are included, and the map itself too. It is very easy to set up all of your characters, as it just needs a static mesh or a skeletal mesh if you want to work with animations. You can set up which collections these characters belong to and set up special collections like Rainbow easily. These special collections can have their own VFX and of course custom material. One reason that it's so easy to set up is because we use dynamic materials for displaying the money amounts. This eliminates the need to upload textures for all of the purchase costs and money per second amounts, as they can be set easily through the custom devices. We have a custom ability system, which by default includes the punch mechanic used for cancelling people stealing your characters, the freeze ability, dash ability, ghost ability, and more. On top of that, it's easy to set up even more abilities, as basic abilities only need to be added in the custom devices without any coding required. The custom abilities are also purchasable in the custom shop we added, where you can set the price and required rebirth amounts. There's also a fully customizable reward system that is used throughout the template, and this reward system can be accessed through the custom devices itself, so you don't have to know first to implement it. The reward system is used for the rebirth menu, where it will display dynamically the price wheel and the pin code device. Additionally, we have a custom collection menu which shows which characters you have sold and therefore collected. You can select which rewards get granted to the player when they have collected all of the characters of this collection. A type of reward you can give to the player are base skins, and these base skins can be given to the player anywhere this reward system is utilized, which is basically everywhere. We've made a custom base skin selection system where users can preview the base skins and equip the skin they want. On top of that, you can set up as many live events as you want. We have already added 2 live events, Magma and Diamond, and you can select the start and end date for these live events and select the custom sky, floor, and collection of characters to appear during this live event. Like I previously mentioned, everything is customizable, so you can set up the weights for all rarities and collections yourself, or change any texture used by default in the template. You can also customize the guaranteed rarity spawns and the guaranteed collection spawns, which are used to make the gameplay more enjoyable and retain players for longer times. We've also added a friend system and a leaderboard system, and the friend system, which is used to let players you invite into your base, and you can remove them too if you wish. And the leaderboard system is fully customizable as well, so you can set the size and if it should cycle through players entirely inside the custom device. In our Discord, you'll find the link to join the playtest group where you can test the map for yourself. And in our Discord, you can also find the channel where you can order the template. So when you receive the template from us, this is exactly how we will copy it into your project. And if you want, we can also send the zip file so you can copy it as many times as you want. But what I'm going to show in this video is how you can set up your characters and do the animations for the walking, and also some customization options I'll explain. So you'll see the 8 bases here, and on the right you will have the folders for the bases, the landscape, and all of the first devices in here. And in the content browser, this is just the root folder of the project. You'll see the folders with the textures, materials, etc. and also our first devices here. There are some things in there that we don't actually use, like the entities for scene graph, but you can just ignore them. So these are all of the devices. You can click on one and it will open it there in the details panel. This first one is the spawn item manager, and I'll get back to this one because first we're going to actually set up all of the characters. So in the item device manager, you'll see the rarity weights and the collection definitions. So the rarity weights, if you right click and then expand all, it will just open all of the options. And you'll see that for all of the rarities that we have common, rare, epic, etc. You'll see that there's a weight assigned to it. And what this weight means is how likely it is to show up. So if you put a higher weight, it's going to show up more likely and more often. So in our case, common should be spawning more characters than rare, so we put a higher value for common than for rare. And same goes for epic, legendary, mythic, god, and secret. And you can also set the color here and the atlas word index, and what the atlas word index refers to. So if we go to textures, go to atlas, then we'll have a texture here called rarity atlas, and this basically just stores all of the names and the textures of our rarity. So we use this texture to display in game what rarity a character is, and if you plan on changing the names here, you also need to change it in the rarity atlas. So you can just download this texture. If you right click, go to asset actions and then export, you can export it as a PNG and then open it in your photo editing software and then replace one of the textures. And if you do want to change the rarities, you can also open the project in VS Code and just click here at the bottom, go to the config.verse file, and you'll see a rarity enum. So for common, if you want to change common to something else, let's change it to delta, you'll see that some errors appear, and this is because we need to also change common here, and then this error will go away. See some more errors here. Change this one as well, and also right here. Same goes for the item device manager. You can leave these references because we just use it to determine the collection here. So this one, so if you do want to change it, it's okay, but it's just for setting up the device. And there's another error here. Just change this to delta as well. These ones too. These ones too. And these ones, they are just some edge cases. So whenever there's not a collection to be found, it will just return a item with the lowest rarity. So in this case it's delta, but if you're changing the god, for example, you'll have less errors to change because it's not used as much as the common one. So if we look at the collection definitions, and in the collection definitions we basically specify all of the characters we have, and we have 4 collection definitions, which means that each of these collection definitions contains its own, basically the type of character. So we have the default characters, which are just normal characters. We have the electro characters, they have a special VFX, and you can set a higher price and higher money per second amount for them. And the same goes for rainbow and magma. Why we use these collections is that we can use the functions we made to spawn a collection whenever you want. So we have this every hour rainbow event, and we use the collections to basically determine which collection we want to spawn. So we can set it up here that the rainbow collection contains all of the characters and they have a rainbow color, and we can spawn it with this timer. And the same goes for the live events. We also use these collections to determine which characters should be spawned during the live event. So you'll see the item special collection, so just set this to the special collection that you're creating. And in here we also have a weight value. So for the default we have 9,000, and for the electric we have 700. There are some showcase images in the documentation which explain how the rarity works in this case, because it basically just selects a random number which depends on these values that you put in the collection weight. Then in the rarity item definitions we have 7 elements, for each one referencing a rarity. So we have rarity common, and if you click here you can select which rarity you're talking about basically. So the first one you select common, and now it resets. So let me just put it back. So by default we've already added 3 elements to this one because we were making a fish themed map, but we can't share the assets unfortunately. So it will still have the names of the fish and the icons here, but we can't show the meshes and share them to you because we bought the pack ourselves and we can't share it to anyone. But this will make it a lot easier to set up because you only need to change it in the animated blueprint classes and in the carryable devices. So the word atlas index, it works the same as the rarity index. We have this system which extracts the name of the character from this texture, and this is just the t_item name atlas. You can export it as well, and then just change the names here, and make sure you keep the exact positioning. So just add another layer and right on top of this, and then at the end remove this old layer and then export it back in here. And so the word atlas index, it refers to the position. So the first one, butterfly, is 0, copper is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then goes to the next row, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. So the first one is going to be 0, and the item name butterfly, make sure you set this to whatever your item's name is. So let's create a character. We're going to do the Tung 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 Sahur, and there are some free assets you can use. So for example, this person on Sketchfab, on Fab, Alex CGW, he shared some free assets you can use, and we're going to use this Tung 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 Sahur one. So just click skip, click download, and we're going to download this model. Then extract, like so, and then you'll have this FBX file. So we're going to do that in a second, but first let's set up the rest of the character. The word atlas index, you need to change the atlas here, but you can leave the index if you just replace this one with Tung 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 Sahur or whatever. So let's replace this, like so. The purchase price, let's just leave this at 25, money per second is 1. And for the carryable items, we need to use the meshes. So I'm going to do that in a second, but these devices are used to steal the item, and it will show the character above your head when you're stealing it. So unfortunately we do actually need all 8 of these, but you can just select all 8, and then in the custom mesh you can set it to the mesh of your character. Well, we'll do that in a second. Let's go back to the device. So let's leave this for now. The animated mesh and the static mesh. If you click here, it will browse to it in the content browser, and you'll see it still has the old reference image here, but if you open it, you'll see that it's empty. But it does already have a skeletal mesh added, and it will say you need a skeletal mesh asset and a animation to play. And for the static, we're going to do the same, but we're not going to add a animation to play. So for models that are two-legged, it's very easy. We can use this program called AccuRig. I'll share the link to it. It's this one. So just type this into Google and you can download it for free. This is very useful for two-legged creatures, but if you do have a four-legged creature, it's the easiest to do it in Blender. I'll show it in a second, but two-legged creatures are the easiest. So if you're just doing some human themed map, or like Five Nights at Freddy's, whatever, it's very easy to do it using this program. So if we go to downloads, go to the Tung 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 Sahur, and you just need to select the middle. This looks good, like this. Okay, and click break body, and it's going to add some joints, and you just need to place the joints to match the position. So this is going to be elbow, and the hand is going to be like his mouth, his neck, this one. Well, he doesn't really have shoulders, but you can also remove some of these joints later. It's not possible in this program, but I was using the Tata Sahur one, and it doesn't really have any arms. So what I just did is in UEFN I just removed the bones that were connected to the arms, so it will only just do the walking animation. But let's do it like here. This is good. Number of fingers, let's see, I'm not sure if he has 5, but you can change it if you want. That's 4. Well, basically I don't really care about the fingers that much, because it's just the walking animation that I need. Oh, it did it already. So I'll just leave it, but you can also just set the fingers to 0. Oh, it didn't do this one correctly. Okay, I'll just leave it at 0. Then it's going to calibrate. You just need some time. And you'll see that it does the animations pretty good. It's a really nice software. And let's see, like this one. Yeah, this is a pretty nice walking animation. So, and if you go to add motions, let's remove this. I think you can go to 3. Just find a walking animation that you like. I'm not sure which one I used. Yeah, you can just do one of these. So, oh, this one. Oh yeah, this one. This is the one that I used before. So if you click export, export again. And make sure move in place is on. And you can leave, yes, you can leave the rest of the settings. So I'm just going to put this in the source. So you need to select the folder, and then it's going to export. Then in here, then back in UEFN, we can go to the characters, and let's just create a new folder and call it meshes. In here, like so. Open this, click import, go to this. I stored it here. So we just need the walk to loop, which basically is the middle animation. So you'll see that at the beginning he starts walking, at the end he stops walking, but in our game we just need the middle where it's infinitely walking. So make sure it's set to skeletal mesh. So normally it will show this, but make sure you set it to skeletal mesh, and then just click import all. And sometimes it doesn't do the textures correctly, so yeah. So open this and remove this color, replace it with a texture sample, and plug that into the base color. And for texture, just import the texture that we used. So I'm not sure how it's in here. So I'll just use the base color. I don't really care about the roughness. So this one, click apply. And you'll see that if you go to the skeleton, it's still doing the T-pose here, but if you open the, I think it's one of those, no, it's the other one. You see that it does the walking animation correctly. And like I previously mentioned, if you don't want to use the left or right arm, you should select the clavicle, which is basically one of the shoulder bones, and then remove children and from LOD 0 and below. I'm not going to do it, but then I will just go back to the T pose or whatever the pose was before. So now we have this skeleton, and we can go back and let's rename this butterfly to Tung, like so. Wait a second. So if we go to the static mesh and actually try to set it to this one, you'll see that it still has the T-pose. So what we can do is go to the skeletal mesh asset, open this, and then if we look at this button, it says make static mesh. So just go to the upper arms. It's not going to be pretty, but it doesn't really matter. And well, this is really ugly, but whatever. So let's just make it a bit more natural. So this is going to be the pose when he's like standing in the base, so when he's not doing anything. So let's just click make static mesh and go to characters, let's meshes, and Tung. Let's call it Tung mesh. Then go to the, let's just save first, and then go to the static mesh. You can remove the skeletal mesh, search for static mesh, or you can use this one, doesn't matter. But and then for the static mesh, select the toon mesh. I should probably set the size to like 5. It depends on the character that you have, but you should just play the game and see how big they look and then change it accordingly. But we were going to need the static mesh either way for the carryable devices, so it's not an issue that we had to make it. So let's open the animated one, and for this one we do need the skeletal mesh. So just select this one. Let's also make the size 5. And then for the animation, let's see if it was this one. Like so, that's correct. So just compile this as well. And then we'll have the, oh yeah, you see this is a bit too big. Let's just change the scale to like 1. Yep, that's correct. Like so this is going to be the walking animation. It doesn't play, but, and this is the static one. So this is just going to be standing here. And I'll show you. So the static one is going to be placed on here. You can change it to whatever you want, but there's also going to be text displayed over here. So to change the position of the text, go into the, what is it? The spawn item manager. Then search for the positions, and this is going to be the collection. Like if it's default collection, it will show this one at 800 above the mesh position. So you should see this as the base, and then you should just test how much above the character it should display the text, and the amounts of Z value that is going to increase is the same for every character. So so the add static prop function is the one that does the static mesh in your base, and the one that I was looking at, yeah, so the spawn animated prop is the animation prop. So you should probably set them to the same either way, but make sure you change them both, because the animated prop, the spawn animated prop, is the one that does the walking through water. And of course you can change the water to whatever you want. So it's this one. Let's just change it to like brown, like it's a pathway or whatever. So this is this character done, and then if we go back in here, we have the static and the animated one set here. So for the carryable items, just go to one of them and select the other 7. So we have 8 in total for each. And just go to the custom mesh, select the toon mesh. It's going to be very big here because I'll show one. The preview custom, for some reason it does it way too big, but if you set it to 1, you'll see how it will actually look. But this is just this is not in-game. And then for the collection images, you should just make a picture of in here, and then remove the background or whatever. And that is going to be the unlocked collection image, and you can also put the name on top of it like we did here. And the locked collection image, just grayed out, probably add a blur too for both, but those are the images. And for the collection images size, you can leave them or change them to whatever. And then this is how you're supposed to do it for all of your characters that you have. And I'll quickly show how I did a four-legged creature. So the easiest way to do this one is in Blender or with a plugin in Blender. So I'll just delete whatever I had here, like so. Let's just put the material back on. So I downloaded this crocodile one. I don't know what it's called, but it's also from the same creator that I showed before. And if you go to Edit, Preferences, go to Add-ons and search for Rigify and just click this Enable button, you're going to have a Create add-on for creating the armature. So if you go to Armature, go to Rigify Meta Rigs, Basic and Basic Quadruped. This means four-legged creature. So go to the edit mode. Let's just go to wireframe, and then you can roughly select the position of the legs, like so. Wait, let's just do that once. It's a lot easier. You don't have to do it perfectly, but then just select the mesh and then shift and select the weights, the rig I mean, and then just click Ctrl P and select with automatic weights. Then you'll have this meta rig, and if you go to pose mode, you can change the rigged creature. And then there aren't really any animations for four-legged creatures because they're so different. Just go to animation, and let's make the first keyframe. I'll just quickly make something, but it's going to be bad. Like so. And then click A. Click I, and that's going to set a keyframe, and then go to like 10. This. Click I again, click A, and then click I, and then just put it back to the beginning. Or you can copy the keyframes, but it's the same. And then click A and then I again. Oops, I did something. Like so. Then if you play the animation, it's not really running, but whatever. Then just click Export, and then in UEFN just do the same as we did with the Tung 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 Sahur. So what we're going to do next is show the other devices that we have. We have the custom hotbar manager, and in here we have all of the items that we set up already. We have the boxing glove. You can change the asset if you want in here, and also the drill. You can change this to whatever you want, and you can also change the range, the angle that is needed. So if you want a very tight space for people to hit each other, you should decrease this angle. Just leave the impulses. Well, actually you can, if you go into one of the impulses, you can change the launch and the forward launch values to make people launch away further when they get hit. Respawn, just leave this. We have a speed item and a gravity jump, and these ones, they're the hotbar item custom, and these exact types, they only need a class manager. So the class selector, I mean, and a class designer to work. So you can make some other abilities. We have a freeze, power up, dash. If you want to add another one, just go to the top, click plus. And so like I said, the easiest one to make is the hopper item custom. Just select the class selector, and in the class designer you can set the ability, set the name here, set the icon, and just copy the icon size from one of the other ones. And is default unlocked just means if it's unlocked by default. Actually, yeah, basically it's not that hard. And cooldown, well, it's not really cooldown because if you use the class designers. So let's just remove that last one. The input triggers, just leave this, and the switch is this switch that they can use to toggle on or off if the hot buttons show. So let's go to the next device, the base manager. Just leave all of this. It's basically for each base, all of the props, etc., all of the volumes, all of the text display, but I wouldn't mess with this. It's going to save you a lot of trouble if you don't. Then we have the player spawn manager. You don't need this. You can set the offline earn multiplier here. So if you set it to 1, they'll earn as much offline as they do normally, but if you set it to 0.1, they're going to earn 1/10 of the amount. Friend list manager, this is referring to the buttons that we have to open up the menu. They are already set up, so you don't need to do anything. Skin base manager, these are the buttons for the skin base. For the base skin menu, and in here you can add or change any of the base skins. So the first one we have is default, just leave that one. And the next one we have blue, so is default equipped should only be on for the default skin, and is default unlocked means if it's unlocked by default again. And you can set the material and the base and the item icon. So the item icon size, just copy it from one of the other ones, and you can add as many base skins as you want, but don't add like, I think if you add like 20, it's going to be a bit odd with the scrolling mechanic, because it doesn't really allow for the base skins to go off screen. So I would just leave it at like 7 or 8. I think that's the max. Or you can decrease the item icon sizes. So if you can have more base skins, but just decrease the item icon size. And just leave the other settings. And let's see. The notification manager, you can change the sounds and the time for a notification to show. The UI leaderboard, just add these spawners in here. The size you can change it in here, it will scale accordingly. And cycle players means if it will go from the top 4 to the bottom 4, like it cycles between them. And if you leave this off, then it's going to just show all 8 players at once. And cycle duration is how often it switches from 1 to 4 to 5 to 8. The collection manager, this is the device that we use to show the collection button. So the open index button is the one that opens the collection menu. And then the collection, you can specify it in here, specify the color, the title, etc. And you can add rewards. So if you want to add another reward, we can add a base skin, and when they unlock everything of this collection, they will unlock the base skin, diamonds, whatever. And you don't need to set the icons for those ones. And these are the other collections. So the rebirth manager, it's going to be the buttons, and for each rebirth that you allow, it's going to have requirements. So these are the required items that the player needs to have. So we have the butterfly, change this to tung sour, or you need to do it exactly like you had it in the item device manager, but I'm pretty sure it was this. But you can also set the required money that they need to have, and then when they rebirth, they get 10k cash, additional lock base timer, multiplier, and you can set these rewards as well. Then the item manager, just leave this. Collection manager, leave this. This is used to start and end the live events, so just add an event if you want to. The collection is the collection that will spawn during this live event. You can add a radio, set the name, set the color, and the sky trigger enable and disable. We need to use this because we can't access this in verse. So just add a trigger for enabling it and disabling it, and just add those to this live event here. So then we have the event props. I just added all of these rocks you see, so these ones, and they'll hide whenever the event's not playing, but they'll go back and go to the map when the event starts and is active. So then we have, I didn't set the material yet, but let's go like this. So we have the magma floor material, and then we have the start and end date, and this is in UTC time. So just look up whatever time you want. So we also have the diamond event. It's the same, and we spawn the electric collection. And everything I'm saying is also written in the documentation. So if you do need to look anything up, I would just suggest looking it up in there. The static wheel. This is the cooldown timer. You can change the duration. And then you need to set this to the prop that spins. The button, you can add audio, and the weights are just how likely it is to show up again, and the reward you can leave it as false, or or you can select one of the base skins or whatever. And then you also need to change these icons to a base skin. So this is 0, this is reward 0, reward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can set them up as you wish. The secret code, these are the secret codes that you can enter in this device here. You can set up the reward as well, and the max use, and also the notification messages. And you can add as many buttons as you want, and you can share them on your social media, etc., to get some more players. And then we have one more, which is the shop UI manager. Basically the buttons that open the button that opens the shop. You can change the interaction radius and hide the button like so it will not show in game. And I think those are all the devices. Make sure you set up all of the carryables as well, and just test around for the size to know which at which location the text needs to be spawned to make it like on top of the player, on top of the character that spawns. So you can change this one to tung 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 sour as well, and you can change the material to the rainbow. This looks a bit weird, but you should use the material that we use for the props, but I don't have it in here. But that's basically how you can set everything up. You can change all of the icons in the textures. There's a lot in here, there's a lot in here. These are for the lava. These are all the UI textures, you can change them as well. These are the abilities. And there's a lot more. You can also change all of the VFX. The widget blueprints, we don't use those. Those are just for us. And you can change anything you want. So I do suggest that you change some things. It's not like a ready template, because you have to upload the matches and characters, of course, but I would suggest just changing some of the textures so it doesn't look like a copy paste of other maps. I don't think that's going to be enjoyable for people. You can change these textures as well, so it just looks a bit different than other maps. But that's it. If you do have any questions, please just look in the documentation first. If it's not in there, just ask us a question. We'll be happy to help.